Hi everyone, welcome to another video. Today I'm just going to give you a run through of the layout of the chateau here. Several people have asked about it because they can't quite get their head around how it all works. So I'll take you step by step through, and then Steve has some marvellous idea about trying to do a model. So we'll see how that works. We'll see if it ends up being a model of it, or we'll see if it ends up just being a drawing. We'll see how that happens as this video evolves. So here's the outside of the chateau. They're the gates to our garden, and you can see how huge the barn is in comparison to our rather giant house actually. The bottom window here is the kitchen. Above the kitchen is the great hall. And then on the top is what will be bedrooms and an extra bathroom, but we've barely started that yet. We're still trying to eradicate the birds from there. So from the garden gate you walk past the fallen tower, and here are our steps. They are all over the place, all different sizes, very higgledy-piggledy, not smooth, and not the greatest for trying to get furniture in and out. Very steep, and the unevenness makes it really, really tricky. Here is one of our cellars, so let's see if it will focus in. So this was our initial water supply. So you'll have seen pictures of Steve going down with giant bottles to fill with water before we had water connected into the house. The house had never ever had running water before, and this was our first go at it before we managed to get it upstairs working in the house. And there is a giant wine barrel. As you can see, it's got a bit of a curve going on the ceiling there. So from there, ooh, excuse finger, go up the higgledy-piggledy stairs into the house. There's our resident cement mixer. There's a humongous bay tree, and our lovely olive tree that came from the supermarket a couple of years ago. When we purchased the house, there was just half a front door, and now, as you can see, there's a full door. We did have a temporary second door that we found in the barn that just about worked, and we put all sorts of metal and padlocks and things to try to shut it. We bought a pair of giant barn doors, and Steve has made these doors from one of the barn doors. So you can tell how big the barn doors were, that just one of them made our new front door. Let's go inside. This is going to be a complete warts and all video. There is stuff everywhere. We are living in a building site, so just bear with for the purpose of this video. The first door to the right, as you come in the front door, is going to be our downstairs shower room. So we've got a giant marble font as our sink, toilet, absolutely crazy plumbing going on there, and our still unfinished shower. We will just skip over that. It is a very, very sore point. So going back to the front door, that was the first door to the right. Straight ahead, as you come in the front door, is the dining room. And this is constantly used as a storage room. That you see all the bags of lime plaster. There's bags and bags of sand to be mixed. There's our parasol. Really impressive giant fireplace. And the dining room is the painted room. We'll go through those at a later date. Oh look, there are some of the templates to make the stairs. So we need to do some sizing on that because we think that the tower gets smaller and smaller as you go higher. So if we carry on making steps the same size as we have so far, they're not going to fit. So the challenge is, oh, look at that. There's more bags of concrete and cement in the corner. There's also piles and piles of lights and our electrical supplies in here, you name it. Oh, look, there's plasterboard. It just goes on. So I've gone back to the front door so you can get your bearings. So again, on the right is the shower room. Straight ahead is the dining room. And this is the hallway. So when we first got the chateau, you couldn't actually see that there were flagstones, and you could barely see any steps at all because there was so much rubble and detritus that have fallen, and also the common theme going on here, tons and tons of pigeon poo. Nice. So just the first right along the corridor is the kitchen, right next to the dining room. So there are just currently three rooms on the floor when you come in the front door: shower room, dining room and kitchen, with I think the best fireplace in the building, but we'll see. So there's our kitchen island, which was an old shop counter. We have having quotes at the moment to have the top wrapped in copper. Oh, there's some bits and pieces. There's a great big pilaster there that we are hopefully going to use as part of a splashback for our crazy expensive cooker that's just got an assortment of things dumped on the top of it. And here is our gigantic dresser back that we've been painting, building. It has been a labour of love, to say the least. So there you go. This is the third room on the ground floor. So I've come back to the front door so that you can get your bearings. So along the hallway, past the kitchen, to the bottom of the stairs. Yeah, hopefully the electrics will be finished this year and we can go from our temporary 2-socket supply for the entire building to having 2 floors fully wired. Fingers crossed. You can see here the curve to the underside of the stairs that Steve's built. Now this doorway here goes out to the fallen tower. So if/when the tower's rebuilt, there will be a nice snug on this room, and it is actually a fair size. So that would be great, but to my mind, it's not the end of the world. I want to finish the main building first, is my priority. So here we go. The first few stairs are the original stone ones, and you'll probably hear a change in noise as I start to stand on the wooden ones. So here we've not been able to put in a window yet because this cable here is the electricity for the house. At the moment it runs from a tree across the road up through this window. Yes. So carrying on up the stairs, this would have been another doorway to another room in the large tower, and we've just put safety glass in there at the moment to stop the weather coming in. Now, this little room, inverted commas, this would have been the toilet, and it just would have been a stone ledge for you to park yourself on, and it would fall directly into the garden. So that's lovely. You'll see where there's a landing and a doorway, there's a larger stair, and you can see, oh, it just drops over the edge there. You can see what we were contending with. This is kind of how it was originally. So bits of step left in the walls hanging out like broken teeth. So they've had to be cut away, all the bits and pieces, and the wooden ones put in. So at the top of the stairs, there's just one huge room, and it's the Great Hall. That's currently our bedroom and our sitting room. I told you it was going to be take us as you find us. So Hoover sitting, sofas dust sheeted, the giant ladders out, getting ready to put the fitting onto the ceiling for the chandelier that's going to go up. I've done a full tour of this room so that you can see it in its fullness. Then the very last couple of rooms are up these rickety stairs. So until more steps are built going up the tower, this is our only access to the top floor. And on the top floor, it just mimics down here. Hello, Stephen. So upstairs, it's just a big cavernous room, and also the pigeonniere that will be a bathroom on that floor. I hope that makes things a bit clearer, but we'll either do a drawing or a model to show you how the building's evolved over the years. So here we go with what the castle originally looked like. This is an artist's impression, mind you, so we've no idea kind of how accurate this was. So this is the church next door. Here's the castle. So you can see there were 4 towers and a perimeter wall. You can still see bits and pieces in places of what remains of the perimeter wall. And it's obviously showing that one of the entrances to the church is inside the castle walls. And then obviously the one at the end would be open to the people. And there you go, more of a diagram of it. And now we're going to move on to Stephen's wonderful model he's made. So here comes a treat. Here he is with his splendid model. You can see he spent hours over it. Come on then, take us through it.
We're told this is roughly what the castle looked like in the 14th century. Tower in each corner, spiral staircase in the front one there, and 3 other towers and a walkway around the top of the walls used for fighting off the English if they
pouring
arrived.
hot tar on people.
For the English, but they never arrived, so didn't get used, we don't think. In the 16th century, we're told that the castle would have been modified and that these 3 towers were removed. Probably took them a bit longer than this.
They probably didn't just chuck it all on the floor as well.
So the only tower that was left from the original ones was in that corner. The other corners, when you're inside the building, you can still see parts of those turrets. They're still there, built into the corners of the walls. In the 16th century, once they'd removed those towers, they then built a much larger tower with 4 floors. We think probably mainly accommodation bedrooms. So they wrapped around the spiral staircase. That stayed like that for several hundred years until one of the previous owners of the chateau sold a 17th century stone fireplace from the base of the tower. They sold it to a chateau up the road that had come to buy the main fireplace in the Great Hall. A few weeks later, because they hadn't shored that the hole up where they took the chimney out, at apparently 5 o'clock one morning, this piece of the tower ended up in the village square.
It made a lot more mess than that though, didn't it?
It was a very big pile of rubble. We've seen some black and white press photographs at the time. It's quite a spectacular amount of ruin that ended up in the square. Happened in the early hours of the morning. Nobody was living here at the time, and nobody that was in the village was hurt, but they did get an early wake up call. This is pretty much what we have today.
So there you go. Hopefully that makes things an awful lot clearer with this amazing model demonstration by Steve, and with the video that I put together actually at the castle to give you an idea of the layout and scale of things. It's a question that we get asked quite a lot on this model, just to point out where to bring my other video clips together. Round this side of the tower is the gate to the garden, and to come round this side of the tower are the steps up, and the front door is about here. Please feel free to ask any questions in the comments, and we will do our best to try and make things as clear as we can. Hope you enjoyed this week's video. See you next time.